My beloved, do you think it's an accident that you're hearing my voice right now? No. Heaven planned this moment long before you took your first breath. Here on Holy Voices, we share the whispers of eternity, the messages that change hearts and awaken destinies. If your soul is ready, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might be the very word your spirit has been waiting for. The crown chakra connects you to divine wisdom when you give with joy. The Lord loves a cheerful giver. 2 Corinthians 9, verse 7. Sow $20 into Holy Voices today and align with higher guidance. God is contacting you at this crucial time because a significant event is taking place in your life. Tomorrow will not be like any other day. It is a moment of spiritual transition. A special, powerful energy will be carried by the sun's rays, an energy that can cause long-suppressed tensions, fears, and deep wounds to surface. God is getting ready to remove these burdensome memories, these old traumas, and the fears associated with your past and future. However, this divine purification will only occur if you heed his advice to avoid direct sunlight and remain in the shadow. This is your opportunity to liberate yourself, to be cleansed and rejuvenated. Rather than being a weakness, your spiritual sensitivity is a gift. It indicates that you are prepared for this change, but you must respect the procedure. You are the frontline combatant in this spiritual conflict and God's chosen one. God respects your strength and cherishes your journey. Pay close attention to this advice. Stay out of the sun. Remain in the shade. Get ready to be rejuvenated. God will complete the task required for your eventual freedom tomorrow. But in order to align with this powerful shift and truly walk into the manifestation of your dreams, you need to understand how this works. Take a moment to pause this video and perform 3 actions before we begin this transformative message. To help us reach 90,000 subscribers, click the like button, subscribe, and write a comment with the number 99. The energy of this movie will be amplified by this quantity, which will send a strong signal to the universe. And keep in mind that you will watch this video through to the conclusion if you are genuinely a chosen one. Your spirit already understands deep down that this is for you. You may not survive if you are not prepared to accept this reality. However, your life will never be the same if you do. Let's get started now. Everything is different tomorrow. You cannot afford to disregard the direct and urgent message that God is sending you. The sunlight you typically welcome with open arms will carry an extraordinary spiritual energy for causes that are out of the ordinary. Old wounds can be healed by this energy, concealed deep inside, or wounds you believe were healed. It will cause confusion and arouse fears, upending the entire basis of your heavenly connection. Imagine the sun tomorrow not only as a source of warmth, but also as a force that will amplify all of your silent burdens, unspoken fears, and traumas. For this reason, God is requesting that you, his chosen one, stay completely out of the sun. This has nothing to do with weakness or fear. It has to do with safety. You need to protect your sensitive spirit, just like you would a delicate flower from a violent storm. This divine warning is meant to protect you on a day of spiritual upheaval. Pay close attention. Now is the time to choose tranquility over mayhem. By staying out of the sun tomorrow, you put yourself in a position to be healed by God instead of experiencing the chaos that comes with exposure. This is an urgent, profound, and personal message. You need to take this important step first, but God is with you, preparing a great cleansing. Your spiritual path may be permanently altered by the decision you make tomorrow. It is no accident that you are here. You have a special destiny because you are a chosen soul. However, big challenges accompany great intent. There will be a unique energy in the sun tomorrow, a threat concealed in light. It's possible that this energy will resurrect phobias and traumas you believe to be behind you. It can cause anxiety to consume your thoughts and break the holy connection you have with God. Consider how some medications have the potential to heal, yet they can also be uncomfortable if taken improperly or in excess. The sun will behave similarly tomorrow. It's not dangerous in and of itself, but for you right now, unplanned exposure might stoke feelings you don't want to confront all at once. Like a magnifying glass over parched leaves, the sun will intensify your inner tensions, ready to ignite a fire. God urges you to remain in the shadow for this reason. Your spirit will experience this change more profoundly than most since you are sensitive. However, your strength is sensitivity. It indicates that you are spiritually aware. By following this heavenly guidance, you make the decision to safeguard your holy energy and make yourself vulnerable to healing rather than harm. The sun of tomorrow is not a foe. It's a challenge and an opportunity to overcome your suffering. Imagine the shade as a sacred protection, a place where your soul can rest and recover, rather than just a cool place to escape the sun. Similar to how new plants need protection from harsh sunshine to grow, you too need to discover this safe haven tomorrow. The shade will help you maintain your tranquility and protect you from the sun's harsh spiritual force. Consider the shadow to be a potent haven. Tomorrow, you are taking an active role in your own recovery when you sit in the shade. By choosing to keep your heart and mind safe, you are accepting God's plan. By protecting you from a flood of trauma and worry that may otherwise overwhelm you, this small deed serves as spiritual armor. It's a daily practice that combines self-care with obedience to God. You can show that you trust God's timing by accepting the shade. You create a sacred area inside of yourself where transformation can start subtly, and effectively. Safety and rejuvenation are promised by the shade. Additionally, it encourages you to take a break as God is ready to remove your previous troubles. Tomorrow, your best ally is this hallowed haven. It's acceptable if you're feeling vulnerable at the moment. What you're experiencing isn't weakness. It demonstrates your deep spiritual awareness. Others could miss what your soul sees. You possess a light that responds profoundly to the invisible forces in your environment, particularly tomorrow. This heightened awareness is a blessing, even if it sometimes feels like a burden. You experience joy and sorrow more keenly if you are spiritually sensitive. And that's precisely why you can be shaken by the energy of the sun tomorrow. But don't fear this sensitivity. Accept it. You have the power. Your spirit can detect small changes in the universe, indicating times of transformation, like a perfectly tuned instrument. Tomorrow is one of those uncommon moments. It is a chance for God's healing mercy to strengthen your spirit. Recall that being unaffected is not what strength is all about. It's about having strong emotions and deciding to soar above the waves. You are ideally suited to go through the spiritual cleansing because of your sensitivity. You honor God's design when you respect it and take precautions. Your sensitivity will lead you to triumph tomorrow. You are a light warrior. Your difficulties are not unique to you. Every tear you cry, every restless night, every burdensome thought that weighs on your heart, your anxieties about the future, the hurt from past relationships, and the anxiousness that appears to appear out of nowhere are all seen by God. Everything is seen by God, and He is summoning you to a potent moment of emancipation tomorrow. It's more than simply a day. It's a heavenly call to release yourself from the bonds that have imprisoned you. These concealed sufferings are meant to be revealed by the sun's peculiar energy, but only if you allow yourself to be exposed to it. Instead, with God's assistance, you can let go of these worries by doing the sacred ceremony and remaining in the shadow as He has instructed. Consider tomorrow to be the pivotal moment, the day when God reaches down to remove the heavy bonds of your past trauma. This is your opportunity to start a new chapter in your life, one that is lighter, more liberated, and full of optimism. Trust that God's eyes are on you, and He is ready to guide you through this metamorphosis. Tomorrow's sun is more than just a dazzling beacon. It's a strong trigger. It may bring back memories and emotions you believed were safely hidden if you expose yourself to its rays. With unexpected power, these past traumas will resurface, causing waves of worry and emotional turmoil that may seem overwhelming and unmanageable. Have you ever heard or smelled something that instantly evoked a wave of recollections from your past? The sun of tomorrow will perform a similar function on a far deeper level. It will function like a spark, igniting sentiments you've buried beneath the surface, pain, grief, remorse, or fear. In addition to upsetting your tranquility, these feelings may impair your spiritual clarity, making it challenging to sense God's presence or hear His voice. Avoiding the sun is therefore more than just a precaution. It's an essential self-preservation action. You can prevent this emotional outburst and set your heart up for a slow healing process by choosing to stay in the shade. Take precaution, since the sunlight of tomorrow could arouse strong, agitated feelings. Tomorrow, the sun's beams will serve as a spiritual amplifier. This might serve as a wake-up call for some, a heavenly chance to discover more profound realities and reach higher states of awareness. However, for others, particularly those who are vulnerable or unprepared, the same energy may bring with it mental turmoil, spiritual bewilderment, severe anxiety, and hidden dangers. There are two sides to it. This unique energy has a capacity to bring about deep healing and unleash the possibilities of your soul when treated with kindness and respect. However, it might overwhelm and upset your spiritual equilibrium if you disregard or undervalue it. Your response makes the difference. Will you risk being exposed, or will you answer God's call to protect yourself? Your experience of the special spiritual force of this day will depend on the decision you make tomorrow. Have faith in God's wisdom and follow His guidance. The sunlight is neither your enemy nor your friend. It is a strong force that has to be treated with respect and prudence. Music. You must actively participate in the healing process of tomorrow. God is requesting that you write down on a plain white piece of paper everything that weighs on your heart, including your anxieties, trauma, and grief. This goes beyond just writing. The door to healing will be opened by this sacred ceremony, which is an individual act of faith and surrender. Writing out your suffering becomes a potent symbol. It gives expression to the things that have been weighing on you in silence by externalizing your invisible battles. You are having a precious conversation with God as you write, a vulnerable time in which you ask for divine healing and acknowledge your need for assistance. You will release this paper into the water at the conclusion of the day. Letting go is similar to washing away the hurt, a practical approach to entrusting your troubles to God. This ceremony ushers in a new, lighter phase of your spiritual path and signifies the start of your liberation from the past. It's more than just a practical step to put your worst traumas and worries in writing. It is an act of faith that is sacred. In addition to admitting your difficulty, putting your suffering into words invites God to meet you where you are. This act displays courage since it involves vulnerability. Giving your inner wounds to a higher power who promises to heal them is what you're doing. Think about how strong it feels when you finally express your burden with someone who actually listens. Writing is a form of self-disclosure, a private dialogue between God and you. The healing process starts with that trust and that surrender. It's a way of saying, I trust you with this pain. I surrender it because I believe you will carry it for me. This small deed turns into a representation of rebirth and hope. It's a turning point when God's grace begins to pour freely and your past begins to fade. It's a reminder that healing is not just about forgetting pain, but about altering it through faith. In many cultures and religions, water has long been associated with purification and rebirth. Tomorrow, you are engaging in a timeless spiritual practice when you cast your written burdens into the river. This gesture represents letting God cleanse your soul and get you ready for a new beginning by washing away your suffering, anxieties, and past traumas. Imagine your worries and sorrows tangibly leaving your hands as they drift away, growing lighter with every ripple, and your burdens dissolving into the river. This is not merely a symbolic event. It's a real emotional release. Freedom is what you're choosing, not only mentally, but spiritually. You make a significant stride toward rejuvenation by the end of this holy day when you see the paper fade beneath the surface. You accept God's promise to clear your way and make room in your heart for peace, healing, and fresh starts. You're not a victim of your situation. God has selected you as a warrior. Tomorrow is a day to conquer, not only to endure. The hardships you have endured, the trauma you still bear, and the crippling anxiety. God is preparing you for victory on this battlefield. Consider how soldiers get ready for combat. They trust their commanders, train, and protect themselves. Tomorrow, the darkness is your shield. The ritual of release is your weapon, and your commander is God himself. He fights to take away your troubles and guide you to victory, and he is by your side every step of the way. Victory doesn't always come through big fights. It frequently results from trust, silent obedience, and surrender. Tomorrow, you declare your victory by remaining undercover and performing your sacred ceremony. You come out lighter, stronger, and nearer to your divine purpose. Generosity cleanses your solar plexus, the place of power. Faith without works is dead. James 2, verse 26. Activate your faith now by sowing $50 into Holy Voices. If you are exposed to the rare solar energy of tomorrow, it can cause intense anxiety. You may experience abrupt spikes in tension, agitation, or even a nagging panic attack. Although these emotions can be frightening and confusing, they are a necessary element of the spiritual process that God is using to work through you. It's critical to acknowledge that these increases are intentional and transient. They clear the air and get your soul ready for healing, much like emotional storms. But if you disregard the warning and face the sun directly, these storms can become overwhelming, clouding your judgment and upsetting your tranquility. Stay in the shade and take long, concentrated breaths to protect yourself. Keep your sacred ritual close to your heart and center yourself in prayer or meditation. By doing this, you shield your spirit and welcome calmness, allowing God's healing force to flow smoothly instead of being obstructed by anxiety. It can be challenging to clearly hear God's voice when things seem unclear and emotions are running high. However, the event of tomorrow is a divine signal, a message from God encapsulated in solar energy. This signal could seem like restlessness, a whisper, or even a strong yearning to take shelter and relinquish your sorrow. Take note of this inner prodding. God is guiding you to safety and healing by reaching out to you through the chaos. You must calm your mind and listen to your heart in order to recognize the summons. Don't discount discomfort or a sense of urgency. They are God's method of keeping you safe. Respond to the summons with obedience and faith. By doing this, you make room for a closer relationship and more precise direction. God's presence will become evident and guide you toward serenity during the storm. The spiritual conflict that is going on around you is quite real, even though you cannot see it. These unseen forces will become more powerful tomorrow, challenging your spirit by harnessing the energy of the sun as a catalyst. It's possible for old pains, resentments, and phobias to surface like shadows attempting to drag you down. You decide to protect yourself from these heightened conflicts by remaining in the shade. Your fortress is shade, a holy wall that repels evil forces and lets God's healing light gently operate inside of you. Keep in mind that you are not fighting this struggle to fail. It has to do with spiritual development. You fortify your defenses and get ready for triumph every instant you are protected. Have faith in this holy shield. It's a part of what God has planned for you. Your relationship with God is sensitive and holy, particularly when you are going through a spiritual transformation. Even though it is strong, tomorrow's sun is dangerous. Direct exposure may cause this link to become distorted. You may have feelings of helplessness, confusion, or distance, as though your spiritual signal is being suppressed. Consider your spiritual connection to be a delicate thread. It may fray or snap due to excessive strain or exposure to damaging energies. Avoiding direct sunlight is therefore essential. It keeps your strength and clarity intact while guarding this connection to God. You protect your spiritual force when you respect this protection. You enable yourself to stay open, receptive, and connected to God's direction and love. Your greatest treasure is this relationship. Treasure it and protect it. Avoiding direct sunlight tomorrow is not just for your physical protection. It's about providing a holistic refuge for your entire being. While physical shade provides instant protection from danger's rays, spiritual cover is equally important. You provide your spirit the room it needs to rest, recharge, and get ready for God's healing work when you physically protect yourself. Consider the shadow to be a safe haven where your soul can rest and recover without any hindrance. Your spirit must be protected from emotional and spiritual overload, just as your body needs to be protected from the heat. Your entire being is protected from the powerful forces that the sun will bring tomorrow thanks to this dual protection. Protecting your thoughts, feelings, and energies is what it means to have spiritual shelter. It entails setting boundaries that keep out negativity and bring in divine calm, as well as encircling yourself with prayer, meditation, and faith. Despite the maelstrom of ancient wounds seeking to surface, the sacred shield helps you remain composed and in control. Respecting both spiritual and physical shadow allows you to completely engage in God's plan. By treating your body and soul with respect, you create the opportunity for profound, all-encompassing healing that affects every aspect of your being. Your dedication to this protection will serve as the cornerstone for renewal tomorrow. One of the hardest yet most freeing things you will ever do is let go. You enter a terrible yet thrilling state of liberation when you surrender your traumas, anxieties, and burdens to God. It's a relinquishment of authority that allows divine mercy to occupy the gaps. Forgetting what happened or acting as though it didn't hurt is not the goal of this freedom beyond trauma. Rather, it's about turning your suffering into a source of power. It's about giving yourself permission to take deep breaths once more, walk lighter, and welcome a future free from the shadows of your past. Because trauma becomes ingrained in their identity, many people find it difficult to let go. They believe they will lose a part of themselves if they let it go. However, God's invitation for tomorrow serves as a reminder that your true self is founded in His love and healing power rather than in suffering. You recover your life from the thing that held you hostage when you let go. The goal of this procedure is to become whole. It's a courageous act of faith that leads to joy, serenity, and a new sense of purpose. Tomorrow, you enter this vast liberation by first letting go of your burdens. God is eager to grant you this freedom. Spiritual forces are very real and active, even though you might not be able to see them, especially during times of major transition. The sun of tomorrow will heighten an invisible conflict between chaos and healing, light and darkness. These forces try to either uplift or disturb you by influencing your thoughts, feelings, and spiritual state. This conflict could show up as unexpected worry, disorientation, or emotional instability. However, it's crucial to keep in mind that it's not only random. Your faith and fortitude will be put to the test as you interact with your inner world in the spiritual realm. Understanding this enables you to appreciate the event of tomorrow on a deeper level. You are being protected by God, who is the ultimate commander in this invisible conflict. However, he urges you to take an active role by praying and carrying out the holy rite while remaining in the shade. You associate yourself with healing and light forces. Your obedience turns into a weapon and a shield. Being aware of this spiritual struggle gives you the strength to confront the future with hope and courage. You are not alone or helpless. You are engaged in a divine conflict, and those who obey and have faith will win. Tomorrow can offer clues that your waiting season is coming to an end if you've been feeling stuck, waiting, or troubled by unanswered prayers. God frequently speaks to you through subtle clues, emotional shifts, sudden serenity, or epiphanies that indicate change is imminent. As the day progresses, you may have a sudden sensation of tranquility or an overpowering sense of hope. God is using this to let you know that your spiritual purification is having an effect and that the burden you've been carrying is starting to lighten. Observe these emotions carefully. They serve as heavenly flags to direct your path. Additional indications might be a fresh drive to go, a more distinct understanding of your mission, or the closing of previous phases in your heart and thoughts. These signs affirm that God is calling you to boldly enter a new season and is setting you up for success. It takes stillness and focus to recognize these indicators. Even though God's whispers are frequently quiet, they have the capacity to completely change your life. Tomorrow, follow your intuition and see how God works to graciously end your wait. Your latent aches and fears will be forced to the surface by the powerful energy of tomorrow, which is like a spiritual pressure cooker. However, this pressure is required. It's what creates the conditions for your success. Since darkness frequently comes before dawn, tomorrow can seem like the darkest hour before your light. Although difficult, this shift has great potential. Your breakthrough could be an unexpected realization, a sudden outpouring of emotion, or a profound sense of serenity taking the place of turmoil as you let God work through the difficulties of the day, creating room for healing, illumination, and fresh starts. Consider how a seed needs to pierce the hard ground in order to sprout. You too will overcome the barriers erected by fear and trauma tomorrow. Your spirit will become stronger and your divine destiny will become more apparent than ever thanks to this process. Have faith that tomorrow's darkness will pass and that light will arrive. Not only is your breakthrough feasible, it is assured. It is impossible to exaggerate the importance of tomorrow's message. It's more than just a warning. God is sending you one last invitation to let go of what's been preventing you from moving forward. The universe occasionally offers us a final opportunity to choose healing before fear takes hold or old wounds become more severe. Tomorrow presents a sacred chance to overcome your reluctance to confront your trauma or your dread of the agony of letting go. The sun's special energy is a gift and a challenge, a final push to advance your spiritual development. Your faith and courage are needed in this moment. You must have enough faith in God to completely give up your suffering, believing that His love would embrace you and see you through. The ceremony you carry out tomorrow serves as a bridge from enslavement to freedom and is a powerful representation of that surrender. Don't pass up this opportunity. The pivotal moment you've been hoping for might come tomorrow. the time when God brings you out of the darkness and into the light. Spiritual conflicts are frequently imperceptible to the unaided eye. However, they can have a significant effect. These unseen forces will be particularly active tomorrow, attempting to disturb your tranquility and erode your trust. The secret to keeping your spirit safe from needless damage is to acknowledge this struggle. These forces may show themselves as intrusive thoughts, abrupt mood changes, or depressing and doubtful sensations. They thrive on your vulnerability and openness. Therefore, doing your spiritual ritual and remaining the shade is more than just a precaution. It serves as your first line of defense. Arm yourself with faith, prayer, and the understanding that God is watching out for you. Imagine yourself surrounded by a spiritual shield that invites heavenly light and blocks negativity. You become stronger and more resilient against the forces attempting to bring you down thanks to this invisible armor. Recall that those who have faith in God have already won the war. It is your responsibility to maintain your composure, be watchful, and assert your rightful win. The sun will set tomorrow, not just on the day, but also on the previous chapters of your life, thanks to divine favor. As night falls, it will represent the end of a difficult time and the start of something fresh. This shift is holy, a time when the burdens of the past are lifted and the blessings of the future are established. Accept the sunset as a symbol of spirituality. It stands for finishing the cleansing process and letting go of things that no longer benefit you. You find yourself on the precipice of change the instant the sun sets. Hope, rebirth, and heavenly favor abound in this new life that begins with the setting sun. You have the opportunity to change your story, release from the burden of anxiety and past pain. Through faith and obedience, you are reborn as a new creation rather than the person you were before. Enjoy this holy season with anticipation and thankfulness. Even when the sun is no longer visible, God's light illuminates your path forward. Lastly, keep this in mind. Breakthrough and healing are not pipe dreams. You can get them. Even now, God's plan for you is being carried out in ways you might not completely comprehend. Behind the scenes, the secret to entering the tranquility and happiness that await you is to have faith in this plan. Every dollar you give vibrates in the spiritual realm. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Matthew 6 verse 21. Let your $100 gift into holy voices become a vibration of light. Believing in what is not yet visible and trusting in God's timing are both components of faith. God is arranging every aspect for your ultimate benefit, even if the process seems difficult and the journey unpredictable. You can align yourself with this divine plan by being willing to follow the directions of tomorrow. There is no quick fix for healing. It is a path of grace, faith, and surrender. You're getting closer to the breakthrough you've been longing for with every step you take, especially tomorrow. You're always supported by the love of God. Hold fast to this fact. Have faith in the plan. Accept the process and get ready to experience the wonders that God has in store for you. Remember that this trip is yours to embrace as you get ready for tomorrow, the day that will be unlike any other. Courage, faith, and trust in God's loving plan are the foundations of this hallowed journey. Healing is a transforming process, even though it isn't always comfortable. You get closer to the freedom God promises every time you decide to obey rather than be afraid. Moving on entails wearing your wounds as symbols of your resiliency rather than as burdens. It entails having faith that the light that lies ahead will triumph over the darkness you encounter today. Your spiritual sensitivity is a gift from God, a compass that helps you navigate through the storm, even when the path appears unclear. God is not aloof or uncaring. He is incredibly present and lovingly walks by your side. He celebrates your faith, respects your suffering, and encourages you to make your breakthrough. His devotion to your recovery and ascent is demonstrated by tomorrow's spiritual purification. Therefore, face tomorrow with courage and an open heart. Prepare to give up, recover, and rise. Before tomorrow comes, start living your new life, one that is full of strength, peace, and a spiritual connection. Spend some time today getting your heart and mind ready. Healing starts with inner preparedness as much as physical action. Think about your past traumas, anxieties, and uncertainties, and gradually bring them to surface. Recognize them without passing judgment. Recognizing that the first step to change is this honesty. Before a symphony, this preparation is similar to tuning an instrument. God's healing music can enter your heart when it's time to declutter your mind and allow God's peace to fill it. Engage in silent meditation, prayer, or introspection. Your spiritual refuge will be greater tomorrow if your heart is clear. Take your time with this process. Be patient and kind to yourself. Healing is a sacred dialogue, a slow process in which God meets you one step at a time. The sacred ritual of tomorrow can be more profound, powerful, and liberating if it is prepared today. Accept this moment as a blessing, a holy pause during which you connect your soul with God's plan. Your readiness to get ready is a lovely demonstration of trust that respects the path ahead. Although healing is very personal, it doesn't have to be done alone. Community, those who walk with you, pray for you, and support you tomorrow, strengthens the spiritual path. Reach out spiritually to mentors, family members, or close friends who understand and support your journey. Even if you continue to live in physical shadow, it might be consoling and reassuring to share your aim and experience. Knowing that others are performing the same holy task, generating a collective energy of protection and healing, may give you courage. God frequently extends His grace and assistance through community. This connection serves as a reminder that although your journey is precious, it is not alone. Beloved soul, if this message is spoken to your heart, don't let it end here. Click that like button so the light can spread to more people who need hope. Subscribe to Holy Voices so you never miss the next word heaven has for you. And leave a comment below. I read everyone and I pray over them. Remember, faith grows when we share it. So share this message with someone who needs to hear it today. Until we meet again, may God's peace cover you and His voice guide your every step.